Alright, today the movie is Longlegs, released on July 12th, 2024. Welcome to Brandon at Random Reviews, covering one unsystematically chosen movie at a time. Directed by Osgood Perkins. For the cast, we have Micah Monroe as Agent Lee Harker, Nicolas Cage as Longlegs, Blair Underwood as Agent Carter, and Alicia Witt as Ruth Harker. For the plot synopsis, the FBI tracks a mysterious serial killer who somehow manages to kill families while leaving no evidence of his presence at the crime scenes, aside from handwritten coded messages. Alright guys, let's just dive right into this motherfucking movie. I've heard rumblings about this movie here and there, and I kind of like to see what the modern horror movie has to offer, so I decided I would check this one out. If you're not familiar with the work of Nicolas Cage, he has been making a name for himself in Hollywood as someone who is really capable of playing totally unhinged characters and really committing to the performances. He also plays his fair share of other types of characters, more normal type people sometimes. As I mentioned, this movie tells the story of a federal investigation of a case where a serial killer has seemingly been murdering entire families over the years, but forensic evidence shows no trace of him actually being present during the murders, despite him seemingly leaving these letters at the scenes with coded messages to tease investigators. As usual, I don't intend to give away any major spoilers for this flick, but given that this was my first viewing, I did notice some things about it that were worth noting. One thing that really stands out that I don't often comment on in reviews is the way this movie is shot. There are very few close-ups, and many of the shots are much wider and center the subject in the middle of the frame, and it gives the audience less of a personal point of view and more like you're kind of watching from a distance most of the time. This movie does well building on its story and revealing little by little to keep you guessing what the fuck is going on with this psychopath who is on the loose by giving small glimpses of the things involved in his crimes. I'll be honest, I wasn't super crazy about Micah Monroe's performance, or at least how her character was written. She was just so cold and emotionless most of the time. The only real enthusiasm we see much of is from Nicolas Cage's brief appearances. It kept my interest and was more compelling than I expected it to be, but I think if you're a hardcore horror fan who likes a good kill count, you might feel shortchanged. And honestly, it's not particularly scary, but there are some jarring moments here and there to give you a decent dose of excitement. But all in all, it was a pretty watchable story. Keep in mind that you shouldn't expect a ton of Nick Cage in this movie, despite him being second billed in the cast. That might be a good or a bad thing, depending on how you feel about the over-the-top actor. Alright, on to ratings. IMDb 6.9, Letterboxd 3.5, Rotten Tomato critic score 86%, Rotten Tomato audience score 60%. Personal rating 3 out of 5 stars. This movie was legitimately just okay. I occasionally like something different, and I also have zero expectations when it comes to these trendy horror movies that come around pretty frequently, so I wasn't really let down either. If you're big on checking out modern horror movies when they come out, I will say that this was certainly a lot better than movies like Smile and Megan from 2022 that I reviewed last year at about this time. Alright everyone, thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. Bye now.